told you. You die for that. You should have gone for the head.
Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of Let's Discuss Death Battle. I am your only mate, and with me as always is Jedi Bender, also known as Richard.
With great power comes great big booty bitches.
Okay.
Words to
Sure.
live by.
What?
Okay, this might be calling it early, but I kind of want to name that this episode.
Okay.
Just big booty bitches.
Alright, contain thyself.
Anyway, we also have Jaru.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. How are y'all doing today? Talking to the audience, I guess? I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
Today we're here to talk about Death Battle.
Yeah. Also, just a heads up, I'm a little bit sick, so if I sound a little weird, that's why.
You sound fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know, I've had a weird throat all day.
It's okay.
Yeah, I've come down with sickness, awesomeness. So if I sound awesome, now you know why. Haha, I'm funny. Anyway, talking about the Death Battle. Mechagodzilla versus Dragon Zord. Wow, I actually said it correct.
Yay!
Yeah, I know, right?
You did it!
AKA one of the longest requested death battles going all the way back to season 1.
Yeah.
Honestly, whenever I first heard about this matchup, I wasn't a big fan at first, but the more I learned about it and the more I heard their feats and abilities, etc., I got into it. I actually liked it a lot. So I'm glad they did this matchup. It was fun.
Yeah,
Rip
is
Power
one-
Rangers, but you know.
Power Rangers.
Yeah, this is an episode that Ben's wanted to do for since the beginning,
Yeah.
but he only really started thinking about it when Torian handed in Godzilla v Gamera. That long ago, he was like, okay, now let's really think about doing this matchup.
That's an interesting segue, though. Which one would y'all say was a better fight? Godzilla versus Gamera or Dragon Zord versus Mechagodzilla?
Ooh. Okay.
Put me on the
Animation-wise...
spot
Yeah, animation-wise, Mechagodzilla vs. Dragon Zord beats it in that sense. In terms
absolutely.
of...
Well, in terms of the engine, I think I can agree.
Yes, but in terms of, say, choreography, cinematography, and overall action and landscape environment,
Yeah, I'd have to give that
still
to Godzilla v Gamera.
Yeah, because Godzilla v Gamera, yes, it's a long slug of a death battle, but that's kind of the thing, and that fits into Gamera and Godzilla's characters because they're both kind of slow. I think it did an amazing job of taking that into account and mixing that with the animation style. So I still say
Whereas
Godzilla
Power Rangers fights tend to be a bit quicker.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And I would have to say, other than this fight having some fast action, I do think Godzilla vs. Gamera still reigns supreme just because of how much of that fight still holds up, despite the animation being
really
a little bit
does.
dated.
Yeah, sure, the water doesn't look great, but
No.
but you can't. How do you beat highlights like gravity-defying dropkick or
Right?
Gamera flying Godzilla into space and then smashing him like a meteor? Or
Yeah, exactly. Them fighting in the water, and
it was just too epic in scale to really.
yes, exactly.
And that moment where it looks like Gamera won when Godzilla vanishes after the laser beam. And fun fact, when they showed that at a convention, everyone went dead silent.
I know.
And then when
I
Godzilla
saw-
showed up, everyone cheered.
Yeah, I saw that. So,
Yep.
yeah. Godzilla vs. Gamera still reigns supreme. Sorry, Mechagodzilla vs. Dragonzord. You tried.
That said, still a pretty good fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful.
I'd actually want to, for once, I'd actually like to get my critiques out of the way first, because it's a pretty short list.
Sure.
Just flat out, there's only really two things in my mind that really stuck out. I guess three things, but two minor things that bothered me. The landscape, the battle arena, wasn't a fan of. I would have preferred a cityscape, or just have more going on in terms of, other than a plain field. It was kind of boring in that sense.
Nuclear field, actually.
That's fair. I appreciate that detail, but generally I would have preferred if it had been a little bit more going on with the background. Other thing that I wasn't a huge, or one thing I had a slight issue with was the death. It's like, it wasn't bad by any extent, but it felt like it was just missing one little something. Like,
well, I mean,
I wish he had punched him or done something like to be.
I can agree with that. Yes,
I can see that, but at the same time, the Godzilla roar is so iconic. Then that to lead into a shatter, that's pretty cool.
It is, but I can totally see Jaru's point. I definitely think if we had gotten,
I can see
if
of both.
But like, for example, if they wanted to do a callback to Godzilla vs. Gamera,
yes,
Mechagodzilla grab the frozen dragon sword, throw him into the air, and then blast him to pieces. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been a little bit more interesting than just sort of watching him get Thanos.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I think that would have been better. I understand. Don't get me wrong. I like the surprise ending. Like, you think Tommy's gonna win. And then all of a sudden, surprise! He's dead. I like that, but I feel like there should have been more to it than that. Like,
actually, there's a little something I found out thanks to watching the Death Battle cast just before we recorded this.
Okay.
So, there were actually 2 planned epilogue shots for the end of this.
Oh.
One of them is Akane getting out of the broken jet.
Called it.
Yep, so Akane's alive. The other one is we see a broken dragon dagger, is that what it's called? I forget.
Yes, it's called the Dragon Dagger.
Yeah. And Tommy's arm picking it up.
Ooh.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Tommy didn't die.
I mean, duh. But what does that... Why would they do that? That's interesting.
Unless...
No, because the thing is, with Zords, they have this feature when they're about to blow up, they eject the Ranger.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, right. And, the Zord itself is what lost.
That's true.
Yeah.
But it's also it almost implies that they're planning on bringing them back.
Well, yeah,
or
I think what
maybe
that
this is before Tiger Zord versus Epion.
Oh.
That would be
That would
awesome.
actually make sense, because Green Ranger happened before White Ranger.
Ooh, possible timeline in Death Battle.
Maybe, yeah.
The timeline of Tommy getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, exactly. As a conspiracy theorist, I like to think that implies that maybe they'll bring Tommy back for a third time, but not in a damn Zord. Maybe on the ground.
Oh. That would be interesting.
That would be nice to see, actually.
I mean, yeah, had a Ranger just by themselves. Although, it's sort of one of those things where it's like, wouldn't part of a Ranger's standard arsenal include their Zord?
Yeah, I know. So I don't know.
So like having Diva show up without her mech, it's like that's a little weird.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
but other Ranger shows have done it, so who knows? But yeah, so those were the 2 small things. Really, the only major complaint I have, and it is a major complaint.
Oh, yes.
If you say Jason David Frank's birthday, I swear to God.
No.
Is that there was no bloody introduction to the fight. There's no fight. Of course there's no fight, because they don't do that anymore for some reason. But also, the action you feel like you started in the middle of the fight, like you missed something. And that is very annoying. And it's like, it happened with Weiss vs. Mitsuru, and I was like, wow, that was weird. They've never done that before, and I don't like it. And then they did it again, with this one. And I'm like, oh no, is this a trend? Is this a terrible, terrible trend?
I hope not.
Well,
I agree.
I mean, they have kind of had 3D fights like start with no story before. Like, what was the story behind Link versus Cloud? They're just standing there looking at each other. Fight!
Yeah,
but you can give that a
season
pass.
one.
But yeah, exactly. That's season
Plus,
1.
Even then, that's better than starting with them already sword fighting.
Yes, exactly. Here, I agree with Jaru. Like, I had to dock a major point off of the episode as a whole for not having a story because I understand, and me and Jaru have agreed, there are time constraints. We understand that, but you cannot tell me that those time constraints are so limited that you can't have the animators put in an extra 30 seconds worth of a story. It's literally ludicrous and baffling how this is the second death battle, 3D death battle, to not have a damn story. It's getting ridiculous. I'm like,
They know that their 3D matches are the big show event. Like, these are the ones people look forward to more.
yes.
Like, don't get me wrong, I actually prefer 2D sometimes to 3D, but generally the 3D matches are what bring in the crowds. And
Yes.
So true.
not going the extra mile on them, and that baffles.
Yeah. Also, too, I can prove that they could have added 30 seconds because they've been working on this fight since June when they showed off a sneak peek of it back at RTX. So if they were still working on it at that time, it doesn't make any sense. How could they not put in a story?
Yeah, it's like, it's one thing if it's like, oh, you don't know their production schedule, you don't know, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, if they can have a 10-minute death battle for Thanos versus Darkseid, they can add 30 extra seconds.
That had a story.
Yeah, that had a story. That then they can add in like 30 seconds explaining why they're fighting, and it could have been something so cool. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I have to admit, sorry for sounding like a broken record still, but if my most wanted happens, I hope they don't do that.
Don't have no story.
Yeah.
It's like, if
Like,
my most wanted happens, I hope they don't do it badly. It's like,
it's pretty much just open up to just Blake and Mikasa fighting each other for some reason.
Yeah, it makes it feel like we're watching like a DBX or something.
Burn. That's a good one. No, but I agree.
Yeah, I have a friend, Yang the Insane. She was talking to me about this match, and she suggested a great way it could have started. They could literally have both the Mechagodzilla and Dragonzord going off to fight Godzilla, and then bumping into each other and thinking they're enemies. Like,
I like that.
Simple story. You could just have both of them looking at their monitor, being like, "Oh, we gotta go kill Rita's new monster or Godzilla," and then like they see each other and then fight. Like, that's all we're doing. You don't even have to
exactly. There's not only a story behind that, but there's a little bit of comedic to it too. It's like, oh, they're fighting over who gets to kill the monster in Save City. Mm-hmm. That's kind of funny. It's like, see, it's simple things like that. And it doesn't even need a 2-page script. It's just simply a couple of sentences. Boom, story.
Yeah,
I don't understand. I don't understand.
It adds so much charm. Like, just that little bit of extra effort there gives it so much charm, and it makes it much more enjoyable.
Absolutely, yes.
If you don't have fight at the start anymore, I guess, like, I hate that, but, okay. But if you're just gonna be, like, I've mentioned this, I probably said this in a previous podcast, but it feels like they got rid of fight, and then people were like, wow, why did you get rid of fight? You can still fit it in. There's still moments of pause in the beginning as they're introducing
we talked
each
about
other.
that in the first episode.
Okay,
mm-hmm.
and then it feels like Death Battle's response was, okay, let's just cut out the beginning entirely, so that way there's no place to put the fight.
But then,
absolutely.
But that raises the question on why only do it for the 3D fights.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, no. Why do it for specifically? Why do it for Weiss versus Mitsuru in this fight? You didn't do it with Black Widow versus Widowmaker. So why are you doing it now to these two fights? Like, are they going to do the same thing with the final 3D fight? Like, is that what they're going to do?
Yeah, there's Zoom in on Galactus versus Unicron already in combat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Honestly, the story for that fight kind of writes itself. Like, Galactus goes to eat Unicron, but then Unicron transforms and they fight each other.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
Or they're going to destroy Earth.
Oh.
Yeah, that too.
Either
But yeah,
one
no, you bring
works.
up, yeah. But you bring up great points, Jar. I'm the same way. I liked this fight. Like, if you watched my review on my channel, you know how much I drooled over how good and amazing this fight was.
And we should probably talk about why it was so good, because we've been
Yeah,
that
no,
was
it's
my
okay.
only complaint.
Nitpicks. We have to get the cons. We have to get the cons out of the way before we can start saying nice things about this episode. That's how this goes. Because we can't.
That's why we tried to talk about least favorites first.
Yeah, well,
Just-
no, we can't.
just
We
to
can't
get
give the
that out of the way.
audience. We can't give our haters of us the idea that we don't like the episodes of Death Battle.
Yeah,
We
no,
have
it
to.
was still like a 9 out of 10 fight.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It just wasn't a 10 out of 10. That's all. I'm saying.
No, yes, I agree with you. I perfectly agree.
So let's talk about why it was so great.
Okay.
Very first thing I want to say is the pilots. We get to see the pilots, and it is
Yes.
outright comical how much better the pilots look in this than they did in Megazord versus the other one.
Voltron.
I can't get both matches right today. That's too much.
That's
You
okay.
almost had it.
But seriously though, the Rangers look so terrible. Or actually, the Rangers
did.
look bad, and then the Voltron pilots look like terrible.
Just
But this time the pilots look great.
Yeah,
Like,
when they
did a
yell
really good job.
Voltron, it shows all 5 of them. Don't pause.
Don't pause
Oh God.
unless you want that in your nightmares.
No, I don't.
But yeah, I could be wrong, but I think they pulled the Tommy model from that new Power Rangers fighting game.
Yeah, Shattered Grid. I think
yeah.
they did too.
Which I like that game a lot. It's neat.
Me too.
I wouldn't call it an S tier fighting game by any extent, but as a Power
It's good.
Rangers fan, I thought it was pretty cool.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I liked them showing Tommy and Japanese woman who,
Akane.
yeah, her.
Wow.
I can't be expected to remember these things. Okay, they spent like 20 seconds talking about her in the announcement.
This is true. This is true.
I have to admit, sometimes I'm worried I'm accidentally going to say Akame rather than Akane.
No, yeah, it's Akane. Just try not to say it.
On the topic of Miss Japanese Woman, the fact that they actually got like a Japanese actress to come in and speak Japanese for the role and have subtitles, I love that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
the
was a
fact
nice
that
touch.
Yeah,
That was
no,
great.
the fact that they got Hamodi Pharaoh, or if I pronounce that last name wrong, it's me we're talking about. But I loved
Yeah, it happens all the time. Don't castrate him in the comments.
Yeah, no. I loved Hamodi's performance. I also love that the translation team was able to nail those subtitles. Like, big props to them. Although I was really disappointed because, Hamani didn't get much to do as Akane, because I would have loved to see that. That's another nitpick I have. I would have loved to see Akane and Tommy interact, but we didn't get that, so that's a little disappointing right there. But on Tommy, Nicholas, once again, I know you've thanked me in private, but I gotta say it again, you killed it as Tommy Oliver.
Yep. And he didn't die this time.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
I'm sorry,
yeah,
I had to-
exactly.
I had to throw
He
it out there.
technically, yeah, Nicholas, if you watch this, man, you technically didn't die, brother. So good for you, man.
good.
But but Nicholas, oh my God, like, I think we can all agree, and I've said this in my own review, trying to get a good impression of Jason David Frank and his mannerisms is not easy. Like, he doesn't just say the quotable lines, like, he really gets into it. So I love that Nicholas was able to capture that confidence, that the naivety, and just overall the essence of Tommy very, very well. Like, I think he sounded much closer to Jason David Frank.
He even threw in a few hi-yahs!
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
He did say
As he
that
should.
there were more. Yeah, he did say that he recorded a lot of those, so I'm happy that we got at least one "Aya" in there. It's like perfect. That's perfect. It was awesome. So yeah, both of them just nailed it. I think if they weren't specifically chosen for this fight, I really believe that it also would have taken down a point from this episode, because you've got to get actors like these who can express and emote to these type of characters.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to get the negatives out of the way first, because really, like, outside of those few nitpicks, like, most of aspects of this fight, they really did go above and beyond.
Yes.
So with the casting, with subtitles, with the models, they used really good models. The way that I wasn't sure how the Dragon Zord was going to look.
Yes.
Whatever this animation sounds.
Unreal Engine.
But I thought it looked pretty good. And of course, Mechagodzilla looked freaking fantastic. Like,
oh yes.
Let me get on to that real quick. Just
go ahead.
I read somewhere that they brought on like someone who's like a humongous kaiju lover in order to help with the choreography.
Yeah, I know who you're on about. He's a big kaiju fan at Rooster Teeth.
Yeah. They brought him on to help with the movements of the characters to make it feel more like a proper kaiju battle, and it shows. Like every time Mechagodzilla moves, especially after Godzilla takes over, like Ghost Robot, you feel like, yes, that is Godzilla's ghost.
Yes, I love. Yes, I agree with you. It feels like there are two different ways that Mechagodzilla moves. Like one where he's being controlled, and when he goes into Godzilla mode. Like, I love that little detail. It's like they could have just had the movements be default, but the fact that they went the extra mile to make sure no. The Mechagodzilla has to move differently from when Godzilla comes out. I love that detail.
Yeah, he has so much personality once he comes out. He's just like, he's for a robot. He has so much personality. It's ironic that Mechagodzilla has more personality than Fulgore and Sector combined.
Exactly.
And it's extra funny because Mechagodzilla was a lizard who became a robot, and they were humans who became robots, and yet you would never know it. But yeah, no, the personality was great. Of course, the best part, the most personality-filled part, was the ending where Mechagodzilla gets impaled, and what does he do? He pulls the spear in farther to ensure that his opponent cannot escape.
Aside from the option, like, bro, you can't just let go.
Well, I mean well, again, the Dragon Zord is not that fast.
It's just kind of funny.
Yeah, I know, yeah. It's and plus, too, even if he were to let go, he still would have been in the vicinity of the Absolute Zero Blast. So really, the Dragon Zord was kind of screwed.
Yeah.
But just the way he's like looking up into his face as he's pulling it closer and deeper, it's like, that is awesome. He made him think he was about to beat him, and then he just pulled him in closer. That really shows the intelligence of Godzilla in Mechagodzilla. I love that. Intelligence, more like ruthlessness. That was a
that too.
Andros, if I go down, I'm taking you with me. Like, he was. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. It was so good. Everything you said about Mechagodzilla, I love. Everything about the Dragon Zord, I love. It looked fantastic, especially when battle mode came in.
I was about to say that. I loved battle mode. I thought it looked rad, and of course, I think the transformation sequence, especially with that godly music,
yes,
it's like the highlight of the match. Like, if not the highlight, then certainly one. Like, it was chilling.
Absolutely.
Like, it's been a minute since there was a moment in a death battle where I was like, "Whoa, I'm kind of into this now." Like, that was the moment where I went from "this is cool" to "oh, Okay.
Yeah. Plus two, I think the transformation was better here with the Zords combining than the aforementioned Megazord versus Voltron. Because in Megazord versus Voltron, when the Megazord first forms, it doesn't look right and it doesn't have that energy that Power Rangers is supposed to have. Because when the Power Rangers Zords combine with another Zord, it's so epic. It just sends chills down your spine. It makes you just want to explode with excitement. This was the first battle to really get that right. And it's weird how it took him 2 tries to do it right in Justice. So I love that. And yes, Werewolf Media's amazing score just adds to it.
Like, fantastic. It reminds me a lot of another, I think it was, I'm going to sound like an ass if I quote
It's okay.
But I think they're the ones who did Bizarre Stars. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, they are.
Okay, because if I quote them as being great because of a song they didn't write, I'm going to look like a jerk. But
no,
I think they did Bizarre Stars.
Double checking it just to be safe.
I know.
But,
I've got it in my memory.
Okay. But that song was
they
another
did.
one where they... Okay, great. That's one of my favorites of all time. Maybe actually my outright favorite because it was a unique composition, but it integrated enough of the characters' themes to make it amazing. And that was exactly what they did with the Dragon Zord versus Mechagodzilla, and it was fantastic. That was
yes, absolutely.
fantastic.
Yeah. Well, 2 other things I really want to, break down is something that I think is going to easily get overlooked is the cinematography and the choreography, because the cinematography for this had to make them look big and epic in scale. It's not as good as Godzilla vs. Gamera, but it was still good enough. Like, especially that opening shot where you see a low camera angle on the Dragon Zord and his tail is about to smack Mechagodzilla. Like, that looked very cinematic.
That did.
You're absolutely right.
Yes, and of course the choreography too. It's like even when Godzilla comes in, that's when he's stopped. He's no longer fighting like a robot. He's fighting like the real Godzilla with punches, grabbing him, shoving him into the environment, picking him up by the tail, and just tossing him. It's like, yes, that is the classic choreography Godzilla fans know and love. And even the choreography from the Dragon Zord was awesome too, especially when it was in battle mode, because it was like, oh my god, it's like, who's gonna win? It's like
one of my favorite shots in this whole episode is when Dragon Zord battle mode does that swing and Mechagodzilla jumps to avoid it.
Yeah, that was awesome. And it makes you think, is this gonna be the killing blow for Godzilla? And then nope. And then yes. And then so it keeps you guessing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They pulled another Ghost Rider versus Lobo, where they had them use their ultimate super death move early to make it, to get that thought out of your head. That
exactly.
Until they used Super Saiyan 12, it doesn't count. That mindset. So no, good point on the cinematography.
Yes, absolutely. I think this fight was just a huge love. I love the fact that this fight was a huge love letter to Godzilla fans and Power Rangers fans. Much more fun.
Unless you're one of those people who will like, you brought this out on Jason David Frank's birthday, therefore you hate Jason David Frank.
Yeah. I plan my entire massive internet series around people's birthdays.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
This got brought up on the podcast. Ben had literally no clue.
Yeah.
Because, do they have calendars around the office? Like, here's this celebrity's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you killed Felicia. Was that her name? The cat woman, Felicia?
From Dark
Souls,
Felicia.
Yeah. Wow, you killed Felicia on Mother Teresa's birthday? You monster. What? Who cares? No.
Exactly, yeah.
But no. I think my... pulling the spear in deeper, that was epic, I think. Mechagodzilla grabbed the tail and threw him. the speed and energy of that attack was really nice. I like that.
Yes.
It was.
Also, too, I gotta give props to Lewis because there were actually some 2D explosion effects in this fight. Yeah, they were. You go
Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Yeah, I think I noticed that too.
Yeah, which I can tell those were animated by Lewis, so great job. So a great mix of 3D and 2D effects. I really like that.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yes. So. Yeah.
And there were lots of little details here and there that were really fun. Like when what's his name? The battle mode goes to charge his super ultra attack. You see a faint gleam of light in his eye, like anime style, which is like really easy to miss if you haven't watched it 12 times because you're a weirdo like me. But like it's like there's just little details. Like they clearly cared about this fight enough to go the extra mile in like every
absolutely
way, except for having an intro. But other than that, and that doesn't even feel like their choice. It feels like someone was like, "All right, this season, no intros for the 3D."
Yeah.
Unless we're giving like 5 extra minutes of intro to Black Widow versus Widowmaker, and then no one else gets any more intros. We've overspent our intro budget. No more intros.
Yes. No more intros.
But other than that, yeah, no, the fight was fantastic. If it had a slightly more oomph of a death and had an intro, it would have been an easy 10 out of 10 for me.
I agree.
It was
I completely
9 out of 10. Really fun fight.
Yes. Arguably in my top 5, easily top 3 favorite death battles of season 6.
Of season 6.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, of all time? Dang.
Yeah, no, I wish. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, great fight. Okay, let's talk about the analysis real quick.
Sure.
What did y'all think of the analysis? Did y'all think of justice?
Robo Goose.
Robo-Goose.
All right, let's talk about the humor real quick for a hot second. Not a fan of the really long, drawn-out skits. I'll admit the Robo-Goose was funny. I wish it wasn't. I wish it was half as long of a skit as it was, but plenty of the jokes were pretty fun. I did laugh.
The jokes were okay. I laughed at I got a chuckle and a laugh at one of them, but
every time Boomstick was like, "It's another Godzilla! It's a ghost robot, bitches!" I was like, that was funny. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've said before.
Or when he talks about like the Green Ranger's biggest weakness, a magic candle. Ooh, beware of slowly dripping wax.
Yeah, like that was another good one.
Yeah.
I love that quick snappy humor. The drawn out skits are like skip.
Yeah, exactly. I understand.
I don't like this as much, but most of it.
I agree.
But back to the analysis. Did y'all feel they did injustice? Like, I'm not an expert on either character, but I do think they tried to do Rangers more justice this time.
Yeah, exactly. As a somewhat of a decent expert on Mechagodzilla, especially what I learned about Akane and Kiryu, I think they did a great job of laying everything out, because I know a lot of people were like, oh, they're going to composite, or not many people know about this particular incarnation of Mechagodzilla, and I'm so happy that they went out of their way to draw so much attention to how Kiryu is different from the other two models. So very good. Props to them on that. Tommy's analysis. Tommy's analysis was a complete overhaul from his first one, because I'm not saying I didn't like his first analysis, but trying to scale the Ranger Tommy to other Rangers after Mighty Morphin, I was never okay with that, because you can't scale the Mighty Morphin Rangers to future Rangers, because the future Rangers do not use or rely on the morphing grid. So I'm happy that this time they didn't do that. They knew, like, okay, we can't scale Tommy to any other Rangers because they don't use the morphing grid. So I'm very happy with how they went about it this time. And it really, you could tell, I certainly could, I could hear their Power Rangers geekiness come out of their deliveries whenever they would talk about certain feats or talk about something in particular relating to Tommy or the Dragon Sword. So I felt they did a good job representing Tommy and the Dragon Sword. So yeah, I say it was all right.
Yeah, the only bit of like quasi-compositing that they even did in this match was ironically for Tommy, funny enough, in that they like gave him the skill and experience of like old Tommy, and then gave him, but he's piloting his first mech. So it's one of those like kind of like that's slight compositing, but I don't begrudge them it. It's not. Yeah.
No, yeah. Well, I don't blame them for that either, because obviously since they couldn't scale him via the morphing grid, they had to kind of composite him. And once again, to their defense, Tommy, when he was the Green Ranger in Mighty Morphin, before the comics, before all of this material came out, the Green Ranger was just there. He didn't have very much big feats. I think after he became the White Ranger, that's when he got more and more feats and more to work with. So
Sure.
I completely understand their reasoning for wanting to kind of scale Tommy, but still keep in character that this is going to be Tommy's first Ranger form and his first mech.
Gotcha. And then in terms of scaling, the major bit of scaling, the main bit of scaling they did was for the fighting mode versus the Rita Repulsa's island feat thing.
Yeah, like comparing it to
but-
Megazord, Thunder Megazord, and Rita.
Okay, well
And
I was kind of
it's-
iffy on.
It's admittedly not the most direct scaling, but they did go, they were trying to sort of say, if we're talking general ballpark of power.
Yeah.
And that's fair. I mean, you got Power Rangers are hard, especially early Power Rangers. It's hard.
No,
to figure
yeah,
out.
Mighty Morphin, out of all the Power Ranger series to try and scale and calculate, Mighty Morphin is one of the hardest. You have to make speculations and really
And
give
I think
give an estimate.
Yeah, and I think they stayed within the realm of reason with their analysis. Regarding Mechagodzilla, I thought it was very interesting. I'd like to the different implications for how powerful like Mechagodzilla is versus regular Godzilla is so interesting, because like you think about how powerful that Absolute Zero is, and Godzilla survived that.
Yes, he did. Both Godzilla and Kiryu survived it too.
And actually, I think I want to go ahead and talk about that real quick, because I know a lot of people were a little confused about the comparison of the Absolute Zero cannon destroying some skyscrapers being weaker than Rita destroying an island. A lot of people were like, that doesn't seem to make sense. And I do admit that they should have explained this a little better. But the reason that one's more impressive than the other is that Rita is just, smashing an island, whereas the Absolute Zero is literally negating the atomic energy of 3 skyscrapers. And in order to understand why that's so insane, the amount of atomic energy in 1 pound of steel is equivalent to over 1.5 kilotons of TNT. And that's 1 pound. You go to 10 pounds, and now you're dealing with atomic bomb levels of energy. And Kiryu was able to negate hundreds of thousands of tons of steel and concrete, etc. So, yeah, that's why it works that way. The reason that nuclear weaponry are so incredibly powerful is specifically because they can tap into this sort of atomic energy. And even then, obviously, they're not tapping into that much, considering, several skyscrapers is worth gigatons of TNT. And just so everyone understands just how big of a number that is, if you were to detonate that many nukes worth of TNT, you would create you would cover 70% of the planet in nuclear fire. And if you were just using it on land, you would wipe out, you'd vaporize everything on land like 2.5 times over. Like, that's how powerful the Absolute Zero is. And
Yes.
not only did Godzilla survive that, he also his atomic breath is stronger than that, and that's not even using the red spiral ray. So it's fun to think about how much more impressive it is. Like the fact that Godzilla beats the Mechagodzilla is what's so funny. Anyway, I just thought I'd explain that for people because I know a lot of people find that confusing. It's just
Absolutely
physics, and it's a little weird. So
it's okay.
But for context, if you were to turn the atomic energy of the Earth is equivalent to detonating a ball of TNT the size of the sun. Like, that's the scale you're dealing with. Like, that atomic energy is insane.
Yes.
But anyway, I just want to explain that real quick. Anyway, so that's the only thing I really had to say about the analysis. It was pretty straightforward. Mechagodzilla was faster, stronger, tougher, etc.
Yeah. All right.
So, all right, I guess we should talk about the next time.
Yes.
Yes.
The next time. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this now. The three of us aren't too excited for it. If I'm being perfectly honest.
Dies, but
It's,
that's about my only take on this topic.
Yeah.
all right, it's Sasuke from Naruto versus Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah, I got it.
Yes.
Who I kept mistaking for, I kept thinking he was a Hunter x Hunter character. I've never seen either show, so that explains my misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Good news is, that's good for him because Yu Yu Hakusho characters like to brag that they're planet level. So,
Yeah.
Whether they actually are, or whether or not Death Battle consider them to be, I don't know. But it will be interesting nonetheless. Generally speaking, I have always hated the idea of putting Sasuke in a Death Battle against anyone. Because Genjutsu is generally just disgustingly overpowered.
Yeah.
It's one of those jutsus where it should be much more impactful in the story than it actually is. Simply because you can literally look at Sasuke and he will, boom, you're in a mental hypnosis illusion thing that renders you completely vegetative. Like, it's so overpowered. And it makes him disgusting. Like, ignoring the fact that he's like his raw power is comparable to Naruto, who's operating on, not quite planet busting levels, but
moon level busting levels.
Yeah, at the very least, hollow moon busting levels. So like obviously he's disgustingly powerful in his own right, but then you throw in super cheap abilities like Genjutsu and Amaterasu, which is fire that he can create by looking at you that will burn you forever. And it cannot be put out by any means except some means. But, we don't talk about that. Because Naruto's a little inconsistent.
Wow, an anime is inconsistent? I've never heard that before.
Crazy. That's why it annoys me that people can sincerely want Sasuke versus Vegeta, because it's like, on the one hand, obviously Vegeta is more powerful, but Sasuke is so stupidly cheap with his abilities that you could almost argue that he could potentially win, just because his abilities are so BS.
Well, to throw in my 2 cents on that real quick, if it was Sasuke, if it's Sasuke after Shippuden versus Vegeta before the Boost Saga, then yes. But since, Vegeta has learned how to conquer mind illusions and just overpowering telepathic attacks via his mind, he could get out of the Genjutsu. But, I definitely see. You have a point. Like, if Sasuke was to fight anybody who isn't that good with mental attacks or who has no defense, then they're pretty much screwed. So, yeah, Sasuke is a just disgustingly overpowered character.
And that's not even talking about how annoying his personality and character are.
Oh, yes.
Don't even get me started on the fact that
I can't really comment on a lot of this stuff because I don't watch Naruto.
Understandable. I just want to say the fact that Sakura still ended up marrying him.
Okay, from what I've heard, that I question.
Yeah, again,
He tried to kill
after
her multiple
Yes.
times with no remorse.
tried-
and
he's-
showed no
he's-
interest in her at any point in the series.
No,
So-
even going as far back before he turned to the dark side, he never had any interest in her. He just saw her as a companion, and at the bare minimum, he could call her a friend, and yet she was still drooling over him. And the fact that she didn't marry Naruto, who, by the way, she did admit that she had feelings for him, and she was interested in him. But no, they decided to put Naruto with Hanada and have the murdering psychopath marry her. Makes perfect sense to me.
So stupid.
It is like, oh god. But yeah, I've seen Naruto. I saw the original series. I did get a little bit into Shippuden, but because of how long the damn thing was, I stopped. But yes, Sasuke's personality. Sasuke is not an interesting protagonist. I'm sorry. Like,
Wait,
I know
thought,
there was.
I thought Naruto was the protagonist.
Yeah,
Well, see, that's the
it's one of
thing.
those, there's kind of two protagonists.
Yeah, it's kind of like Goku and Vegeta, like
These are
especially
rivals,
Gotcha.
yeah, especially when Sasuke started off. Oh, he and Naruto were rivals. Oh, then they respected each other. Oh, then they were enemies who had to battle each other again and again and again. Then Sasuke was kind of in the middle, and then by the end he's somewhat good, but he's still walking the fine line of kind of using these powers that no other ninja would use. So yeah, he's pretty much in the gray area, and his personality is just boring. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So-
He doesn't even make sense. Like, he was on an eternal vengeance to kill his brother. Succeeded. Found out his brother was kind of a cool dude and had done everything he could to protect the Leaf Village. I went, I actually really care about my brother and want to honor his memory by destroying the village that he died protecting. Makes sense, Sasuke.
Oh
Good
my
choice.
God.
Wait a second. That makes no sense at all. What is wrong with you? I hate him so much. And then his brother gets revived as a zombie, and they have a conversation, and then he still decides to destroy the Leaf Village. And it's like, what
Jesus.
is wrong with you? Anyway, I'm sorry. What was I talking about? Were we talking about something else? Death Battle. That was it. I hope Sasuke
Little
loses.
fun fact. I think Ben always joked that this fight would never happen because he hates Sasuke.
I hope he loses.
Yeah, like, that was the joke. Like,
Yep. Fingers crossed.
I mean, if
But yeah.
anything, I just hope this
Sasuke.
isn't a repeat of the DBX.
I never saw it. I hear it's terrible.
It is, honestly.
I hear My Little Kitty was involved. And,
Hello, Kitty.
Whatever.
But the fact they were fighting over that, it was so dumb.
My Little Kitty. Yes. I forgive me. Dear God. Hello Kitty. That was what it's called. Jesus Christ.
It's Hello Kitty and not My Little Pony.
Yes. Slightly different shows. And by slightly, I mean extremely. But anyway.
Neither of which I watch.
Yep. Anyway.
I don't
but yeah,
watch
so
things.
we don't care about Sasuke versus Hiei.
No, I'm sorry. We just don't. Like, it's no offense
mean-
to the fandom. It's just I don't know how to explain it. It's one of those matchups that I kind of didn't want to see happen because it's so alien to me. But not
Yeah,
just
it's
that.
like-
It's like
It's like, okay, sorry to constantly go back to stuff like this. It's like, let's say you have someone who's not really a fan of Ruby or Attack on Titan, and then Blake v Mikasa gets announced. I don't expect people to be excited for that if they watch neither show. But
yeah.
I'm not excited for this because I don't watch either.
Yeah.
So
Don't tell Amber that.
That's my bull. She knows, probably.
Yeah, but yeah, no. I think the only thing keeping me interested in this is going to be the voice acting and the animation. That's pretty much it. I'm sorry. I think they for a follow-up to Mechagodzilla versus Dragon Sword, and then before that, Lobo versus Ghost Rider. This is quite. What's the word? It's
A downgrade?
It's Yeah, there you go. It's kind of a downgrade to have this as the next episode. Especially since, once again, this is the season of oddball matchups, and you only brought this up to me in private. It feels like we've just been doing more requested stuff. So, I don't know. If they really wanted to have Sasuke in Death Battle, I feel like, okay, maybe that should have waited, but, what's done is done, so... Yeah, I'm not excited for this. Neither are you guys. And don't castrate us in the comments. It's not... Again, I stopped watching Naruto just because I couldn't finish it, and it's too damn long, and I don't like Sasuke as a character. I really do not like him as a character, so if he wins, okay, fine. If he dies, fine, but my money is on him to win because of just how stupidly ridiculous his freaking ninja powers are, as Jaru explained. So, yeah, that's about my 2 cents.
All right. So, with that said, should we perhaps go on to the next topic?
Sure.
Yeah, of fights we'd like to see. So, who would like to go first? Or shall I go?
You want to go? You can go.
Alright. So, I brought this up in the last episode when we were going over my least favorite, and I thought I'd just talk about it here. Goro from Mortal Kombat versus Machamp from Pokemon.
Rest in peace, Goro.
Pretty much. Honestly, here's how I see the replies to this episode going. They announce it, and so many people are like, wait, you're putting a Mortal Kombat character against a Pokemon. Why would you do that to the Pokemon? Like, what the hell? Do you want to see them get ripped apart? And then the fight comes out, that does happen, but just the opposite way around. Because... I don't know if you know this about Machamp, but oh boy.
Yeah.
Is that thing powerful?
It's actually ridiculous.
Yeah, like a single one of its arms can lift a mountain.
Yeah.
And it can throw 1,000 punches in 2 seconds.
Yeah. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. That's insane.
But yeah, that's a fun matchup. It's one of those matchups that I've grown to accept. It's also one of those ones that was bottom tier for me for a long time, but I've come to kind of appreciate.
Yeah, it was kind of the same with me as well.
It's not a terrible matchup by any stretch. It's not a. Well, what's a terrible matchup? It's not Goku versus Saitama levels of terrible. But yeah.
I know.
But yeah.
Agreed. I guess I'll go next. Mine is kind of good timing because of the awesome Steven Universe movie, the Powerpuff Girls versus the Crystal Gems. I could send you a link. I'll send you a link to it.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's awesome. This is a fight I think makes sense. 2 Cartoon Network trios going at it, and you're gonna, and especially if you allow the Crystal Gems to perform their ultimate fusion, I would love to see the Powerpuff Girls fight that. I think this could just be a fun matchup, and I think it would fall under ironic criticism because the fans would think, oh, you're just doing a girls matchup. These 2 characters are girls shows, and you're doing another, and you're putting them in a death battle. What's wrong with you? And then the fight turns out to be badass, and then it shuts them up. So yeah, I think this could be very fun because I don't know. I think the Powerpuff Girls and the Crystal Gems have a little bit in common. the more I think about it. So it would pretty much be a fun fight that I hope gets made one day, probably after the end of Steven Universe.
Yep.
Maybe.
It's a fun matchup. It I could get behind it. I think the Crystal, obviously, you know, Powerpuff Girls have the edge in that they're Superman, but
yeah, they kind
Crystal Devs are more powerful than people realize.
Yes.
But yeah, no. It would be fun. I'd be in for that.
Yes. Absolutely.
Plus, I don't need an excuse to watch more Steven Universe.
Yeah, exactly. Neither do I.
You need an excuse to watch other stuff, though.
Oh yes.
Uh-huh.
I will watch something I've seen 12 times already, happily, but watching something new, bah.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I will say, I feel like I like this matchup more than a lot of stuff I see requested for just Garnet. Because the thing about Garnet, I feel like she's a character that's like over requested, and also in a way that it's just like people want her in Death Battle but just aren't sure who to put her against. So it's at the point where just if someone throws a punch, requested to fight Garnet. Even if they barely have anything in common character wise, it's just punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, something like this I feel works.
Yeah. There's that category of characters that you know, people want in Death Battle, but they don't know really who to fight. Put them up against a good matchup, and so they just end up requesting everyone to fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's a good example?
Saitama.
Yeah, there's one. Sans from Undertale. People
Oh god. Yeah.
One day you'll be in Sans.
You got into Smash, so anything's fine.
No, he didn't. A costume got in.
Nope, doesn't count. Or it does count. Fuck you.
Yeah, my man.
Okay, then by that logic, Zero is in, Yu Narakami is in, Tails is in, Knuckles is in.
Yep, and yep.
Well, here's the thing.
Undertale fans for the win!
Fans, he breaks free of the constraints of being a costume and truly is there. The moment the Mii fighter, gunner, whatever, put on that suit, he became Sans.
Hell yes.
We are concerned.
Yeah!
So, yes, he is in, and it is glorious.
Hell yeah, it is.
Just give me Crash Bandicoot and I'll be happy.
Hashtag let's put Sans in Death Battle.
Man, I'm not a huge fan of the idea of Undertale characters in Death Battle because they're
fair enough.
They're either going to annihilate or they're going to be annihilated.
I don't care.
Comfortable with either of those outcomes.
Yeah, I understand.
But yeah, no, some characters everyone wants them to fight everybody, like Kratos or like seriously, like they want him to fight
Akuma.
Yeah, Akuma. Oh, of course, Akuma is the king of this. Everyone wants him to fight everybody. Harley Quinn, we want her to fight everybody.
Oh God.
And then Amy Rose to a degree.
There's one matchup for Harley I'm like somewhat interested in out of all of them.
Let me guess.
We'll
Harley
talk about it.
Nora?
We'll talk about it some other time.
All right.
Okay, fine.
I guess I should talk about the matchup I want. The matchup, I've got a lot of matchups I want, but the one I will be talking about today is Simon Belmont of Castlevania fame versus Jonathan Joestar of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fame.
Yes.
I love this matchup. Ever since I started hearing people talk about it and comparing them to Castlevania, I've been like, yes, I want this a lot. Because if you actually like play the first Castlevania and then watch the first part of JoJo's, you're like, wow, these are actually bizarrely similar in premise.
You just accidentally made a pun.
Yes, I did. But no, it's like I remember watching a really good video where someone was like, could Jonathan Joestar beat Castlevania 1 if he was there instead of Simon Belmont, and of course they conclude he could because he's great. But I would love to see it. I think they're very similar characters, very fun characters. I'd like more JoJo's representation in Death Battle, especially against someone who isn't the epitome of cheap like Kenshiro. Literally, I despise that character is in a Death Battle setting. It's like, God, he literally pokes you and he's one Pokemon. It sucks.
Yes.
He
was One Punch Man before Saitama took that title.
Yeah. Joe, if you feel that way, you're gonna hate it when Akame from Akame ga Kill gets in.
I'm sure.
Because her sword works a very similar way.
Lovely.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think Simon versus Jonathan would be great, especially since, and this is undisputable fact that no one can argue with, Jonathan is easily the second best Joestar.
Yes.
But yeah, no. Now that I've triggered a few people, I'd love to see that match. I think it'd be really fun. So yeah, that's the one I want. Which vampire slaying champion from the past will come up on top?
Yes.
And of course, I'd root for Jonathan. And I know people do some crazy power scaling of Castlevania to make like the Belmonts like multi-universal or some such, and I don't buy it for a second, but I'll be curious to see what Death Battle makes of it. So yeah,
absolutely.
That's the matchup I want. Do we want to talk about anything else?
Nothing I can really think of, and the recording's only gone on for about an hour, so this might be our shortest episode.
Okay.
Anything else we want to talk about? Random stuff? I don't know. There's a KFC dating simulator.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I want to date Colonel Sanders. I was like, yes, I get to date Colonel Sanders and get free chicken. Oh my god, my dream has come true.
I would rather watch this anime than watch Yuri on Ice. That's
burn.
I'm still waiting for the day you watch more Attack on Titan.
Okay, here's something. This Saturday marks the season finale of DBX. We're already coming to the end of it. Yeah, I know. It's like with Batman versus Iron Man.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's a matchup that I definitely don't dislike at all.
It's a matchup that should have happened for Batman's third fight, but they didn't do it.
It works for a DBX, I feel. Really?
No, Batman versus Black Panther works for a DBX. This is an actual debatable fight, and not, can Batman penetrate the vibranium or this and that?
Well, he would never use a gun because...
Yeah. Oh, yes. How could I forget? Of course he never uses a gun. And that's why he
loses against Batman.
Yeah.
All the times Batman has used a gun to kill Darkseid and shit. Ignore that.
Yeah, exactly.
Never happened.
Yeah, nope, absolutely. Never happened. No, like, he has guns on his Batmobile. Nope, those are just BB guns. They fire little pellets that are just, knock you out when they touch you. It's like, nope, not guns. No, I feel like this should have been a death battle. Like, I feel like they missed a major opportunity to not have this as a death battle, considering both have so much. They're literally the same character. It's just they're reversed. Like, they're completely different in how they went about crime fighting. One dressed up as a bat, and the other one just built a suit of armor. It's like, oh my god! It's like
armor and bats are opposites? ?
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Yeah. Well, either way, I feel like, okay, if they would have done this as a death battle, I think it would have been a great way to end Batman's third time being in death battle. Plus two, there would have been a debate to this, because let's be honest, does anybody really believe that Batman versus Black Panther is an actual debatable matchup?
I mean, not really. I mean, I guess the best argument you can make is Black Panther is inconsistent as crap, and you can use that against him, but otherwise, sort of whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, Plus two, we all plus two. That season 5 premiere was the weakest I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I legitimately have more joy watching the original Boba Fett versus Samus than watching.
Yeah, so
You know what?
I've
It's not amazingly animated, but it's not boring.
no, exactly.
There's Black Panther, can't claim that.
Yeah, I think Batman's gonna win this DBX. I think this is gonna be their closest DBX, but I think
me.
it's like, yeah, it's like Batman's gonna win. I think he's gonna win.
And I'm not. I still haven't watched DBX. It's hard for me to watch these fights.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I tried to watch one of the newer ones. It was like Diva versus JonTron or something.
Trombone.
Yeah, that one.
JonTron.
And,
JonTron and DBX. Let's do it.
JonTron versus Kermit the Frog. Let's go.
Yes.
But nah. And I watched it. And I was like, oof, this is. I don't really like this. Yeah. And I was like, this is supposed to be like the newer stuff too. I don't know, man. I'm not into this DBX. Also, they have this like quasi announcement analysis dude now.
Yes.
Like, I went to watch one episode. I was like, all right, when does the fight start? Oh, like 80% into the video. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I didn't come here for analysis. I came here for bloodshed.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the analysis portion. I mean, if you want to have an announcer, that's fine. But the analysis, why? What is this? People who don't need to be introduced to the character if they're here to watch this episode. Like, you know,
But Jaru, this is a revamp of DBX. This isn't the old DBX where we jump into the fight. We need an analysis to tell us who these characters are and what they're capable of.
Man. The other day, I was trying to watch a marathon of all of the 1 minute melees so I can make tier list, and I made the bold claim at one point that the animation in 1 minute melee was generally better than death battles, and I have to take that back a bit because the average 1 minute melee is only okay, whereas the average death battle tends to be a bit better than okay. But if we're comparing 1 minute melee to DBX, it is like. Holy cow! I would rather watch.
Yeah, I know.
1 minute.
Absolutely.
DBX, like, it hurts my eyes sometimes. Like,
yeah, I get you. Well, this season's been a little.
Just saying,
better
Jaru does not speak for me.
Okay, whatever.
this man does not speak for us.
Yeah, I could see. Like I said, I could see where you're coming from. Yeah. This season has been somewhat of an improvement, but in my opinion, I don't think DBX ever needed improving in the first place. I think they just needed to improve the animation, and that was it, and not give us essentially Death Battle 2.0 or Death Battle 2, but let's just call it Exhibition.
Chibi.
Actually, there is something with Ringmaster that I want to touch on. Just something they brought up in the cast.
Okay.
It might have been said as a joke, I'm not sure, but, you know, you get those times where, like, Ben or Chad are sick when they need to record a death battle, and they always record, like, together. And they brought up, like, one advantage with Ringmaster, if, like, the worst should happen, and one absolutely cannot record, they could just swap out Wiz or Boomstick for Ringmaster. Or even Jocelyn the intern if they need to.
Oh wow! Someone other than Wiz or Boomstick being in Death Battle and doing the analysis. Oh, this is most unorthodox. Like,
That voice.
Thank you.
Orthodox.
Okay.
It sounded like you're trying to be Doc Brown there.
No. It's
most unorthodox, Marty.
It's like, oh my god, okay, fair enough. Okay, fine. One day, I don't care. They don't have to be sick, but I'm telling you, one day they gotta have an episode with Jocelyn and the Ringmaster. Like, come on, let's have more diversity in the death battle analysis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be fun. But no, I've really never been all that interested in DBX. It's like, it just feels like, I don't know. It doesn't seem. Look, let me put it this way: if I could kill DBX and in exchange get intros to the 3D fights and death battle, I would. In a heart.
At this
I
point,
second
think
that.
same.
I second that. I would. I'm sorry. It's like, yeah. What? And for those of you who would ask, what's 30 seconds of intros worth compared to DBX, these fights that have no research and all that? I'm like, everything, because we need intros. We need to have the intros. It makes a story. It makes the battle charming. You take that away, you're missing one crucial part of the battle, of the episode itself.
I'd rather have one 10 out of 10 death battle than 55 out of 10 one DBXs. So yeah, that's my take on DBX. I mean, I watched all of it, so maybe I'm not giving it justice, but I've just never been that interested.
It's been an okay season, like in my opinion. It's been fine.
Actually, there's a topic fine. I kind of want to bring up since we sort of touched on Smash earlier. It's like we've got one slot left in the fighter pass. Who's it going to be?
Oh, Sam.
Not Crash Bandicoot.
No, it should be.
Sam.
Sans is already in though, Jaru.
Papyrus.
Yes, Papyrus. Perfect.
Now, here's the thing.
Sakurai, if you get Papyrus in.
Here's the thing. I was talking to Max Future 8 the other day about like a way they could reveal Crash Bandicoot if he were being put in. Just have it be he drives to Nintendo and yells at Mario, "Hey, plumber boy, your worst nightmare has arrived," and then boom, he's in Smash.
That would be a little like if they did do that, then that would be levels of meme that I can't help but respect.
The meme levels alone would be astronomical.
Actually, on the topic of who's going to be in this, I saw this picture on Twitter, and I don't know if it's accurate, but it's like the top 10 most requested characters for Smash Brothers by region, and it was like Japan, America, and the EU.
Yeah, and I see that Sora is really high up there.
Yeah, he's like really, and I don't know if it's a legit list, but I was thinking through it, and like of the characters there, like I would love Sora, Steve from Minecraft, Shantae, the Doom Slayer, aka Doom Guy.
Yes.
Sephiroth, that'd be hype.
It would.
Gundam from Gundam. I thought that was a really funny idea.
Gundam is smash. Holy crap, that'd be awesome.
That would be so unique. I love that. But other than that,
yes, it would.
the rest of them I was pretty meh on. Like, I'm not super interested in the idea of Crash in Smash, just because it's kind of like we already have Banjo.
Yeah.
Well, also think about it. Like, of the big rivals to Mario, Crash is the only one who isn't in.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just put him in.
I feel like Spyro would be a more interesting.
Okay, here's the thing.
I'm calling it.
Spyro's gonna get in. I want both of them, but I always felt if one of them was gonna get in over the other, it would probably be Crash. Yeah.
Well, realistically,
and this is one Kim Kardashian size level butt here.
Wow.
Okay.
Because we have like more on the way after this fighter pass, both of them are absolutely getting in. There's no way they're not.
Are you sure about that? You never know what could happen. Sakurai is anything but predictable. I'm just saying.
Some of these characters people want in kind of baffles my mind.
I'm gonna say.
Well, like Shrek.
Bandana D. Why? I want a Goomba. Okay, let's have a Goomba.
We have freaking Piranha Plant in. How could we not have a Goomba?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm in that boat where I feel like we have like enough Mario characters. Honestly.
Oh yeah, people complain about.
No, we don't. No, we don't. We don't have enough. We're missing the one. We're missing the one crucial, important Mario character that holds the Mario characters together, and that is Waluigi. We need Waluigi.
He's an assist trophy.
Well, you know what?
I promise you, Waluigi, you'll get in.
If freaking what's his name, Crom, if Crom can be in one character's Final Smash, be a Mii costume, and be his own character, then I think he can get in. Then Waluigi can get into.
Yes.
There's nothing stopping it. Although I don't actually want Waluigi in that badly, but
Me neither.
Well, I do.
Although it is a little awkward being having Mario and Luigi and Wario, but not Waluigi. That is a little.
Yeah, exactly.
But some of these characters like people really want that I've like never heard of. I'm like, who is Gino? What even is he? Like,
oh god, you're gonna get so hated because you said
cares
that.
about this Gino thing? Who cares? No, just kidding.
Guys, we all know the most important character that has to be in Smash. Goku.
No.
Why not?
I want them to do like
agrees.
like the Donkey Kong reveal where it looks like it's like it's King K. Rool and DDD. I want it to look like it's Gino and then it'd be Goku. That would be
yes.
That would be so funny.
I mean, it'd be perfect too, because Dragon Ball Z Kakarot comes out next year.
No, here's the thing. No, this is why okay. I remember a while back I even joked about the idea of, let's say, a Ruby character being put in. That would be cool. Cool. Yeah. You think about it, it'd be cool. But then you realize how terrible an idea that is. Because what is Smash Brothers at this point?
A video game.
A game that anybody can get into.
A video game crossover game.
Yes.
So if you bring in someone who isn't a video game character, then you know how big of a can of worms that's going to open. Like, if you're adding Goku, then you have to add Naruto, Luffy, Ichigo, Saitama, Superman, Iron Man, just like all these characters that aren't video game characters.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let me remind you,
honestly,
people, Mortal Kombat and Injustice would like to have a word with you. I see it. I can dream. I think Goku would be nice, and plus two. It's
totally do the dragon, like do the Donkey Kong thing, but have it's Goku, and then it's the hero from Dragon Quest, and then Goku Kamehamehas him out of existence.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone hates the hero, and then
I also hate to tell you this, but actually I also left to tell you this. Sakurai himself said that he does not intend on putting Goku in the game.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean that doesn't mean anything, because people say they're not going to put this character in, and they end up happening. I'm not saying Goku will get in. I'm just saying people say that a lot. I mean, look at what happened. They said Ed Boon said that there was no way in hell the Joker or the Terminator was going to be in Mortal Kombat, and look what happened. So I don't know. It's fun. Fun speculation.
Yeah, but considering Sakurai went on Twitter and said, and I quote, "You're not getting Goku, you fucking nerds."
He didn't say, okay, well, that's kind of...
No, he did say that. He said those exact words.
No, he did not. I don't believe you.
No, I remember it so clearly.
It was
Do you have the tweet? Fake news. Fake news.
Well, this was this was after the Bayonetta reveal for Smash 4.
Well, see, there you go. How could we believe that?
I do not believe for 1 second that he said that.
All right, everybody down in the comments below, if you could find that tweet and send it to myself and Jaru, we will personally give you a shout-out, and we will talk about your most favorite requested matchup in the next episode. So, come on.
Wow.
Get to it.
Wow, damn. Throwing down the show.
Yeah, let's do it. I don't know, but whoever gets into Smash, it's gonna be fun either regardless. But it's fun to speculate. That's the beauty of it. We can speculate, we can dream, and all that. But it's just nice that Smash is still continuing, and it's going above and beyond to get characters that you never thought were gonna be in this franchise in the first place. I mean, if you would have told me Sans was gonna be in this game, I would have laughed at you, because I'm like, no, they would never do that. But they did.
the new Megalovania remix is so
Yes.
good.
It is.
So good. Anyway, but yeah, some of the characters people want, I'm like, like I'm not against them getting in, but I'm not super interested in them getting in. It's like Dante, Crash, Rayman, Master Chief, Waluigi. Like none of those really like
Yeah.
speak to me. Like I wouldn't be like, oh my god, it's Rayman, whoever that is. But you know, it's like,
If
but
the
yeah.
if the Battletoads ever get in, I swear to God, I will literally jump out a window and enjoy of excitement.
and die and then you won't get to play. Like that's a terrible idea.
I didn't say it'd be a high window. I just jump out a normal window.
That's a very fair point. That I rescind my statement. But some of these match characters I'm like not that into. Like 2B from Nier Automata, or whatever. Like I'm not interested in her getting it at all. It's like I've seen her in Soul Calibur and I was not impressed. So I'm not super interested in her, or Raiden from Metal Gear Solid, or the Monster Hunter.
No.
Let me just trigger
If
as
you
many
wanna
people as I
see-
can real quick. Or the Heavy
Yeah, if you
from TF2, or Agumon from Digimon, or Jibanyan, whatever the hell that is. A lot of these characters, I'm just like,
Well,
if they get in,
I
I'll be
still
happy
say
for-
I still say they have to be a video game character first, really.
Well,
Sure.
I mean, really think about it. You know, I mean, certain characters, yeah, they can be a video game character, but that doesn't mean Sakurai won't break his own rules. Come on.
Sure. I mean, why not? It can be fun.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think his goal is to make something that fans will love. And to be
Yeah.
honest, fans would love having Goku in Smash. I mean,
Yes.
I would laugh my ass off, but I would still be very happy because it's like I can have Link kill Goku, and that is a magical thing.
Yeah. You can have you can have Sans kill Goku.
Oh my god!
Let's
You
do
can
it.
But yeah, no, I love. I would love to see. I'm cool with whatever they add. Frankly, it's they added Sans. Like,
Yeah.
holy cow! I've gotten everything I could ever want. Like,
Absolutely.
holy cow! So good.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think we've probably talked about enough for this podcast.
Yes, we have.
Probably,
It's been,
I don't know how long we've been recording.
I think it's over an hour and 30 minutes.
No, it's an hour and 20.
Damn.
Oh, really? Nice. But yeah.
Longer. So, but yeah.
This was a fun episode.
Yeah. I guess we should do last words on the death battle.
Yeah.
Very good. Lots of fun.
By the way, I'm just throwing this out there. I went looking for the tweet. I couldn't exactly find it, but I swear I remember seeing it.
Okay. Well, again,
I believe
people-
you saw something that was fake, and you saw that fake thing.
Again, people down in the comments, if you can find that tweet, I'm a man of my word. You know, like we will give you a shout out. Absolutely, you know, because I want to see that.
Sakurai parody account that pretends. To be
Yeah, it could have been.
Well, either way, I want to see this. So let me know down in the comments below, everybody. But yeah, no, this death battle was awesome. Next time, like giant meh. Couldn't be yeah, it's the definition of meh. Hope our favorites happen, and happy Sans got in Smash Brothers. Hope.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yes,
he
he did. Screw
Go
you.
ahead.
Non-believer. Yes, and I'm excited to see who gets into Smash next. So yeah. Oh, and of course,
And we
I'm
mean who
excited.
actually gets in, not just a me costume.
Nope,
Ignore
Sans is in.
the hater who does not know what he says.
Yes. Forgive us. Forgive us, almighty Undertale fans.
I forgive you.
Yeah.
But yeah, can't wait. I look forward to it. I hope the next time on Death Battle is a little more hype.
I hope
Me
so.
too. And
It's
fun
the
fact.
October fight.
Fun fact, that fight gets announced the day after my birthday.
Oh, congratulations.
Congrats.
For first members, at least.
Yeah, congratulations. You get a death battle announcement after your birthday.
What if it's a matchup I don't want?
It's still better than nothing.
Blake versus Superman.
Just kill me now.
Oh god.
Blake versus Catwoman. Like, just something.
Oh god.
Disappoint as many people as possible.
Yes, exactly. We'll have to wait and see then.
Yeah.
Will we be excited about the next time,
If
or
something
will
like
we
that,
be
I'll
meh?
probably pull an IT credit. You know what? I'm not even making that joke.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
All right.
Well then,
I think we're ready for our outros.
yes, we are. I guess I'll go first. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for continuing to support us on our individual channels. And please go, and if you haven't, please go subscribe to our channels. You can follow us on Twitter. And if you want to be generous to me, you can go ahead and donate to my Patreon. I've got some great perks up there that you guys are going to love. Also, shout out to my 4 Patreons, Colleen, Mr. Gentlemac, Sean, and oh shit. I forgot. You know who you are, people. I'm sorry. My mind is.
And you just lost that patron. Boom.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I lost you guys. But no, I love you guys. All of my patrons. I love you guys. Forgive me. And yeah. So until then, this is the Jedi Bender saying, "Be air."
Like if you enjoyed the video, comment if you got something to say, subscribe if you want to see more, and as always, have a fantastic day.
First, I just want to apologize for not really talking as much. Like, again, the thing in my throat, and I'm kind of sick at the moment. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. If you didn't enjoy, like and subscribe. And we'll probably see you on the next one after Sasuke versus EA. Please let the next time be something that would excite me.
Goku vs Superman 3!
Yes. Oh, also too, Daniel. I forgot your name. Sorry. Shout out to you, man.
All right. Bye!
Bye, guys.
Bye.